not what that truly means. Wherever you are, you still feel alone. Always afraid of the unknown, 'cause we are not alright, alright. Stuck in our heads, they can't find a way out, way out. Don't close your eyes, 'cause we are not alright, alright. Stuck in our heads, they can't find a way out, way out. Don't close your eyes, 'cause we are not alright, alright.
You don't mean nothing to me. E-boys like you every dinner. I don't believe what you preach. You're just a rookie beginner. Hang out with boys in the streets. Like that will make you a winner. I don't believe what I see. Are you wearing gold? You're nothing more than silverware. Thinking you're so bold, but all you are is unaware. Walk around like everything belongs to you. Talk to me like I'm the young stupid fool. Take off all your clothes. You're nothing more than silverware. Why you calling me honey? Why you show off your money? Wave it like it's a tissue. Baby, this is your issue. I'm not falling for bullshit. If you like me, then say it. You don't get that I see through this facade that surrounds you. Growing up takes time, so don't you waste mine. You and me ain't right. I'm wearing gold. You're nothing more than silverware. Thinking you're so bold, but all you are is unaware. Walk around like everything belongs to you. Talk to me like I'm the young stupid fool. Take off all your clothes. You're nothing more than silverware. I'm over you, so done with you. I'm over you, so done with you. Why you wearing gold? You're nothing more than silverware. Thinking you're so bold, but all you are is unaware. Walk around like everything belongs to you. Talk to me like I'm the young stupid fool. Take off all your clothes. You're nothing more than silverware. Ay, ah, 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 ay, ah, ah, ay, ah. Ay, ah, 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 ay, ah, ah, ay, ah. Ay,
When I get you back, oh yeah.
ay, ah, ah, ay, ah.
When I get you back, oh yeah.
Ay, ah, ah, ay, ah.
When I get you back, oh yeah. I promise you'll never leave me. When it comes to you and me, there's no one else I'd rather be with. Baby, I won't let you down. I got it, I know you need it. Love is it when you're around. you back, oh yeah. When I get you back, oh yeah. When I get you back, oh yeah. Oh, when I get you back, oh yeah.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. We back.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen, non-gender conforming individuals. Welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth and not care who doesn't like it. James, Bubba
sir.
Williams, DJ Exclusive. How you doing, man?
Ben, what's up, brother, man? I'm good, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Don't worry. I know everybody's like, where's Rebecca? She'll be here in a minute. She's dealing with that FAMU internet. So we're going to give her a few minutes to get
As
that
usual.
situation rectified. But we are back live and in effect. We took a week off for a lot of reasons. And by the way, man, a lot of people have been hitting me up on social media, just sharing, sending love to you and Rebecca. I know last week we took off just to give you guys some time with all the losses that you all suffer. How you doing, man?
I'm good. You know, it was a long week, but I'm doing good, man. Good, feeling good and refreshed. Actually got a chance to get some work done. So feel good. Feel good.
That's good. That's good. And Rebecca, like I said, she'll be back in a few minutes as soon as she's getting that internet rectified. My voice is feeling good, man. I think I found a solution that can keep me going until this pandemic is over. Because I'll be honest with you, like I'm just not going to lay up in a doctor's office for them to like look down my throat, during the pandemic. I'm gonna wait till I at least get this vaccine. But we got some solutions, and it is feeling good. So I think that week off was really helpful for everybody, man. So just glad to be back in the saddle.
You know,
good morning.
Everybody was concerned about you, sir. Everybody was concerned. It was like, how's Ben's voice? Has been okay?
Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was 100% concerned about myself. I didn't know what it was going to do. But anyway, shout out to everybody in the chat room. Everybody in Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, all across the board. We are here and we are back. We have a new format. And just to give everyone a heads up, we are doing an hour. We're dialing it back. For the public show, we're going to do an hour public show every morning. We're making the adjustments that we need to make sure that we can keep sustaining this in the long run. And in addition to that, after this, there is the after party where we are just going to absolutely kick it with the audience. Anyone who is a patron, anyone who's a patron of my show, patron of what we'll get rolled out today is the Like It or Not patron show page. And we're also going to be anyone who is a part of the Twitch family, subscribers, and we're going to do our best to get anyone who does a super chat. We're going to do our best to get you guys the invite to the after party. But we are just making sure that we can do this. This is sustainable. That said, we only have a few minutes, so let's get to the news. And as soon as Rebecca's internet is back up and running, we will include her in the conversation. I want to start with the Derek Chauvin trial. We haven't been covering it here. Last week it began, and we've been sharing the stream that has been provided to us by Georgia Fort, who is a friend of the show. But this trial is entering into week 2. And it ended last week with devastating testimony from Minneapolis Police Department's top homicide detective, who said that Derek Chauvin's actions to stop George Floyd were totally unnecessary. Now, this may seem obvious to people who are engaging in good faith, because as we saw the video, those of us who could actually stomach watching the entire video, we saw firsthand how totally unnecessary it was. But we also saw, as the defense made their case, they tried to place the blame on everyone else except for Derek Chauvin. They even tried so much as to make the witnesses, the people who were there desperately trying to save the life of George Floyd, they tried to make them out to be the bad guys. We learned that Chauvin actually knelt. It wasn't 8 minutes and 46 seconds, but it was 9 minutes and 29 seconds that he had his knee on the neck of George Floyd. Chauvin, who is 45 years old, pleaded not guilty, obviously, which is why we're in this trial, to second-degree unintentional murder and third-degree and second-degree manslaughter. The charges themselves are an offense to what we clearly saw as a murder. The difficult thing about what's happening right now is that we are exposed regularly to this type of trauma. And we're not only exposed to the trauma of the actual video footage, we're also exposed to how this criminal justice system is not designed to give us justice, but it's designed specifically to help officers like Derek Chauvin to get away with murder, which is one of the reasons why we have not been covering it at every single stop, at every single turn. Now, some outlets can. And again, we want to thank Georgia Fort for her sharing the content and keeping a tabs on it. But James, I want to just jump to you, man, because like I sat through the entire George Zimmerman trial for the killing of Trayvon Martin. And to be honest with you, I just don't have the stomach to sit and watch every single detail and to watch this defense attorney engage in such bad faith, right? To engage with some of the most incendiary accusations against the person who was dead, against George Floyd, and to make these arguments that are in such bad faith. And don't get me wrong, I get the concept that every defendant needs a rigorous defense. But at some point, it has to rise to the level of absurdity for this defense attorney to place the blame everywhere else to the extent where he has to vilify. Like, I get that he's not going to get up there and say that, yeah, his client is guilty. But what he's doing instead is saying that George Floyd is guilty. He's saying that the witnesses are guilty. The EMT who tried to help save George Floyd's life is guilty. To try to say that the brother who was, calling Derek Chauvin out of his name because he was there and he was seeing it in real time, try to make him out to be an angry black man, to say that he was guilty, right? And that's the part that I just, honestly, brother, I just can't watch it, because I know to a certain degree there is no guarantee. Actually, the odds are not in our favor that we will see justice here, because exactly how this system is set up. Have you been watching the trial at all this week?
Man, honestly, I can't stomach it. And I'm glad I didn't watch the first couple of days. I heard that's when the store clerk testified, just a few people testified, and I'm just like, man, I couldn't watch that. I did watch I think it was Wednesday or Thursday's trial where his girlfriend actually testified, and just them trying to make they're basically putting George Floyd on trial. That's what they're trying to do, and it sucks ass, but we all knew that's what they were going to do. And I just hope and pray, man. And I was talking to somebody about this. I'm going to say it straight up. If this goes the wrong way, I think everyone is expecting, but like I said, we got to remain optimistic. But if this goes the wrong way, they're going to burn this damn place down, dude. And what can we say to it other than, yeah, right? Yeah.
We often, not we, there's a group of people who constantly look at riots and judge them on the fact that people are angry. But as Dr. King said, riots are the voices of the unheard, right?
Yes.
These are people who look at these injustices, and we see it time and again. And this is why I can emotionally attach myself to watching every minute of the trial. Yes. But it is a very significant moment in this country, because I fear that we are going to see firsthand exactly how vicious this country really is yet again. It's not as though we don't know this, right? It's not as though we haven't seen this before. Again, like I said, I saw in the case of George Zimmerman, I saw prosecutors intentionally do a bad job. In the case of Michael Brown, we saw the district attorney intentionally sandbag the grand jury process with false testimonies in order to prevent Darren Wilson from even going to trial. So it's not as though we haven't seen these things time and time again. It's simply that this is probably one of the most vicious videos that we had to sit there and watch. And then to see them tell us with a straight face to not believe our lying ass eyes. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar on Sunday, she appeared on Jake Tapper's State of the Union to discuss, in part, to say a few things about the trial of Derek Chauvin. I want us to take a listen into that.
It's been really horrendous to watch the defense put George Floyd on trial instead of the former police officer who's charged with his murder.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. Right. That's the difficulty of having to watch it. So it's not just that they killed George Floyd. It's that they killed him, and now they've put him on trial. The victim, his character's on trial. The fact that he had a less than stellar background and past, that's on trial. The fact that he had drugs in his system, because God forbid anybody uses drugs to deal with the reality of this oppressive capitalistic system. God forbid anybody ever has any drugs in their system, especially if you're a black man. They put that on trial. And so to sit here and watch this, and to know that this system is specifically designed to help somebody like Derek Chauvin get away with murder, it's just too much to invest emotionally watching it every single day. So to a certain degree, I'm keeping my distance, James. Yeah. Keeping my distance, because even covering it right now.
Right.
Telling you, man.
Hey, also, Alicia says, so glad to have you all back this week. I miss my Lion fam so much. And also, Sensation missed the show. Morning, Bubba. Morning, Sensation. He doesn't like Beyonce, but we're not going to talk about that. But yeah, man, it's crazy though, man. I can't attach to it because I can't go through that all over again. It's already difficult enough watching the videos and reliving it and replaying it all over again, and just seeing all of this new footage of video angles. Man, it's so much, dude. It's so much.
Yeah, and that was part of it. There was a 61-year-old man who was testifying on the witness stand, and he broke down crying, right? Having to see and relive that moment all over again, it really just speaks volumes to the trauma, right? And this is the same trauma. And I'll be honest with you, I thought I was refreshed, man. Like just even discussing this, like it brings the trauma right back. Right. Yeah. It brings the catalog of traumas right back to us. Here we are having to discuss this over and over and over again. Meanwhile, the energy around this country is so focused on cancel culture. Everybody's worried about who's getting canceled, which I think they're calling it woke supremacy. Right. Meanwhile, they're talking about, trying to create a crisis at the border when the crisis is actually imperialism, by the way, the crisis that they're conjuring up at the border because they want us to focus on all these things except for the reality of what happens in this country every single day, right? There's I believe a 13-year-old boy, and if I'm not mistaken, it was Chicago again. I could be wrong, but I'm just thinking about just last week, a 13-year-old boy killed by police officers, right? We pay our tax dollars to be patrolled and policed by vultures who are literally there to extract as much wealth as they can through tickets, fines, and fees, right? They are there laying in wait for the opportunity to express their insecurity as human beings, their insecurity as men, right? They're there to try to enforce their insecurity on you in the moment that they pull you over. It's like just riding on the highway, man. Riding on the highway, just see them laying in wait for their opportunity to snatch one of us and to be able to snatch either our wealth through these exorbitant ticket prices, or if you happen to have any type of disrespect or even a condescending gaze towards them, they'll do a lot more than just snatch your wealth away from you. And so it's a catalog of traumas in this country that we go through every single day in and day out. And now we have to watch this trial to see if there's any chance whatsoever that we can get some justice. I'm afraid that there's the likelihood, the possibility is just so high that they won't find this man guilty. But I hope I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. I hope I'm wrong, because for the sake of the peace, they better hope I'm wrong too. Be quite honest with you. Yeah.
Dead ass. Let's go to a break, Ben, real quick. Think you have a visitor waiting for you.
We got somebody with some internet connection. All right, let's go to a real quick break. We'll be right back. More Like It or Not after this.
Good morning, everyone. Man, I missed the hell out of y'all. Y'all don't understand that y'all just my joy in the morning time. And I appreciate y'all. But we are back and we are ready to bring y'all all the hotness on Like It or Not time. So make sure that you keep it locked and stay tuned, y'all. It's Like It or Not.
I know my value.
Shout out to everybody this morning. So many of y'all said good morning, man. I can't shout all y'all out, but I'm gonna get as many people as I can. Alicia, Mara, all my Nats, Nat A, Nat M, good morning. Chuck Diesel, Becky P, Magdalene Noon, good morning, y'all. Good morning. Martha Bitten, good morning, good morning. Man, I missed y'all so much. Justice, good morning, man. Oh my gosh, Justice, I saw your recent video off the chain, man. Oh my gosh, love you. Hey man, love y'all, man. Good morning, y'all. Vegeta, good morning. Chuck Diesel, what's going on, brother? Good morning.
Pay me what you owe me for a make with
Jerry Stacy, I love you too. Peter Law, missed you as well. Mama, good morning, mama. I love you, mama. Good morning.
Promise you stay stole out my crown.
Duda, good morning.
Sorry to tell you, I know my value. I'm gonna recoup.
And shout out again to Alicia and Sensation for y'all super chats earlier.
Loyalty, I let you in back then because I couldn't see, but now it's clear you ain't ever been true to me. My intuition ain't
Angela, good morning. Madeline Moon, love y'all, man. I missed y'all so much.
Think you need to do to get your revenge, but you won't break me, God as my witness. That's the point of no return. I'm on a mission, trying to block my blessings, but no need for comparisons. What's from me won't be from me.
Elephants, I miss y'all too. Nick, good morning, Nick. Good morning.
Pay me what you
Elephants are afraid of bees, miss you too. Hines, good morning. Black Dragon, what's going on?
My money right now. Promise you stay stole out my crown. Sorry to tell you.
It get a 9, miss y'all too. Good morning.
I'm gonna recoup. Don't waste my.
Purple Rain Hearts, good morning. Patricia, good morning. Y'all make sure that y'all hit that like button. Y'all hit that like button. Hit that like button. AG, appreciate that. Good to see y'all too. As y'all see, the Joker disappeared from my cup. Gilbert Power, welcome. Thank you for signing up on Patreon. So we greatly appreciate you. Diallo, good morning. Brain Hearts, yes, that disclaimer is still in effect. Susan, good morning. Goku. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. The name of the song is Lemonade. Now, what the hell is she talking about? You know what? Never mind. We're just going to let it go to the next song, okay? All right.
Is this what you want now? Feels like you're looking for something better. Is this what you want now? Or is it because you can't forget her? I can't keep pretending it's not getting to me.
Chug Diesel. Please remember, any broken property or any issues that you sustain or any injury are not responsibility of Like It or Not. They are the responsibility of yourself. So please remember, be careful, be safe, and move your furniture while you're traveling dancing around. Thank you. Like It or Not. Madeline Moon, right. Sensation. Don't do it. Because what's your fave doing right now? Nothing.
This is what I want now. And yeah, I'm waiting for something better.
Oh, Black Brit, don't do it.
This is what I want now. No, I won't settle for anything else. I can't keep pretending it's not getting to me.
Kathleen Cloud. It seems like everybody in Facebook jail this week, huh? Alicia Sensation is looking for a fight. Get him, Alicia, please. Thank you.
It's not the ending. You can give anything, so you can go, yeah. So I can focus. I just need to focus on myself. Oh, you better go, yeah. So I can focus.
The True Dragon, I appreciate that, sir. They said rep one for Rebecca's internet.
So I can focus, I just need to focus on myself.
Well, I missed y'all. Nick, thank you for your super chat. She said, y'all better not leave us like that again. Threw off my whole routine. Nick, I know, girl. I know. Me too. Okay. All right, y'all. Welcome back to the screen. My brother from another mother and my sister from another mister, Rebecca and Ben.
Bun is cut off. Bun is cut off. Dwayne, you told me you wasn't gonna cut it off. But no.
Welcome to the show, Rebecca. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Baba, what's up, friend? Look, and don't you guys, yes, I got a nail that's off just because I already know it's going to be in the comment section. I like the way I spoke to Rebecca. And she was like, Bubba. No, I saw you backstage. Look, the virtual stage. I saw you back.
We spoke backstage. You'll be okay, Ben. Shit.
So yeah, I haven't seen Bubba. How are you?
I'm good. I missed y'all so much.
I did. I missed you guys a lot. What y'all was talking about?
Oh man, we talked about Derek Chauvin trial, but I don't want to talk about that no more unless you just want to. Shout out to Nick, because Nick, my whole routine has been off too. I think I worked out one day last week and just ate like. So the show helps keep me centered. It keeps me getting up early in the morning, exercising. So I appreciate the show for helping me stay disciplined. But Rebecca, glad to have you. How you doing though? Like a lot of people been checking in on you to see how you doing. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I am doing really good. Better is what I should say. And that was a good time necessary. It was a lot going on, but I had to go through that to get to the end of it. And yesterday made it all better. Did you guys talk about that? I mean, Granddaddy, Ron Isley.
Granddaddy.
I didn't even recognize the man. I did not recognize him for like.
I didn't even know he can grow that.
I guess he's old enough to like grow the fullest beard possible. But
it's full. It's like white.
It's crisp. That thing perfectly white and trim. He had on the shades. I'm like, bruh, that's somebody to look like when you get older.
But when
I saw that, I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, the straight hair, the perm gone. Okay. Like, who this daddy up here on the stage? Oh, that's Ron Isley.
He took off that hat, though. I said, there he is. Because we're used to that. At first I was like, no, give us the baby face. Give us the perm with the little ponytail in the back. Where the sides is kind of missing. I need that man, but what you got. This man, right. That, it was great. It was great. It was yesterday was so amazing that I felt loved. You feel beautiful, you feel handsome, you feel like you just want to enjoy yourself and your day. But then there was Steve Harvey. But then there was
the outfit.
And here's the thing. It's okay. We know how Steve. It's like Steve
Joker.
took a throwback suit and everything. But my issue with Steve was, sweetie, is this your biography? Because I like when the artists speak to each other and can start giving us stories about that. Let me tell you, Steve was getting all the good tea every time the songs was playing, and I was like, dang, I want to hear all of them the good tea that's being said right now. And then here comes Steve. When I was a child. And there was a lot of bias too, because when the Isley brothers would sing, he would be like, wow, very powerful, very powerful. Then when Earth, Wind and Fire would sing, he would be like, back when I was about 2.5 years old, I used to go and do a cigarette run for my dad. And I saw this young lady, and I knew that I had to get her. Man, and it was your album that helped me do it.
Listen. Now, no disrespect to the Isley brothers, right? And to be fair, the Isley brothers got hits in every decade from like 1950 to 2000 and something. So no disrespect to them, but just the catalog of Earth, Wind and Fire is like unbelievable. Song after song, Reasons. Like I knew Reasons before they even started playing. It was just. I was like, oh, it's Reasons.
It was crazy because I know that me and you had talked before, and we were just like, because I'm still Team Isley. Isley brothers did their thing last night. But Ernie on that guitar. Honestly, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Yeah, you're right, Ernie on the guitar band. But Earth, Wind, and Fire, I'm like, I was trying to play them a little bit. I was like, yo, they're powerful, they're great. Before the show, and then I'm like, dang, I know all of these songs. These songs literally shaped me, built me, everything. Like this is FAMU on the set. Like this is amazing. And shout out to FAMU. We was the HBCU that was said yesterday evening. When you mention an HBCU, you got to mention FAMU first. So shout out to the Rattlers. What's up? What's up? We are the staple. But it was amazing yesterday.
Sydney and Bubba ain't even moved by that no more.
Right, at all. Because every band at Bethune-Cookman College.
It's okay. They didn't even recognize. But
played.
You recognize the cousin. They recognize the cousin song, and it's okay.
Now, there is Lindsey B. Sargent, the arranger for FAMU, has one of the dopest arrangements of Reasons. Period. So shout out to them. So it's all love. Yeah. It's good to be back with everybody, though, man. It's good
to see you guys.
It is. Yeah. I miss you guys so much.
But we only have a little limited time this morning. So Rebecca, once you get
I am here.
What's happening in the news?
While an eyelash keeps falling into my beautiful eyes. It's killing me right now, but I'm here. Don't worry, I'm getting there right now. So what's happening? What's happening? President Biden has unveiled a massive infrastructure proposal that he says would deliver a once-in-a-generation investment in the United States. The proposal seeks to spend hundreds of billions on what is traditionally considered infrastructure projects, but it would do a lot more, including putting $400 billion toward expanding access to home or community-based care for the elderly and people with disabilities, $300 billion for manufacturing and business, including $50 billion for semiconductor research and manufacturing, $30 billion for pandemic preparedness, and $52 billion for domestic manufacturers. Okay, so that's the infrastructures. We knew that he would be doing that and putting that together. A lot happened even circling that. And I don't know if we're going into that story next, trying to figure this out here. But a lot happened with that whole thing. And before we get there, Ben, what do you think about the infrastructure plan and how much money is going into it? Do you think that's going to be something that benefits the U.S.?
I mean, it's cool, right? And Republicans are acting like it's an obscene amount of money. When the truth of the matter is, it's not enough money, right? I think he's talking about $1 trillion over 10 years. And it's like, it's just, we have so many things that we need in this country that our infrastructure is falling apart, to say the least. But it's not only about the infrastructure that's falling apart, it's the fact that we haven't invested in some critical infrastructure upgrades and advancements like trains, public transportation. We're still dealing with so many things that across the world they have already solved for. Right, the ability to get on a train and go from one side of our country to the next side of our country, like in a rapid pace, like we can't do that here. So while it is good that he's making these proposals, I don't think it's enough. That's my opinion. Yeah.
Well, you know who honestly doesn't think it's enough either? The South Dakota governor, Kristi Noem. She went on Fox News, Sean Hannity, to complain about Biden's infrastructure plan. The main thrust of her criticism was that Biden and Democrats are spending too much on actual infrastructure. Listen to what she said.
Now, with what the White House is proposing, I was on a call with the White House today with all the governors talking about the specifics of this package, and I was shocked by how much doesn't go into infrastructure. It goes into research and development, it goes into housing and pipes and different initiatives, green energy, and it really is not an honest conversation we're having about what this proposal is. So I'm frustrated. I recognize that this is not going to be good for the country. It's not going to be good for the people that live here in South Dakota. And we're going to be back here a couple of years from now wishing that we weren't in a situation where people had less money, all their costs were increased, and the country was declining.
Of course, all of these items are actually key infrastructure. In an interview with George Stephanopoulos, Pete Buttigieg pushed back on this ridiculousness.
Well, let's be clear. There's a lot more than roads and bridges that are part of infrastructure. I heard the governor of South Dakota recently saying this is an infrastructure. It's got money for pipes. Well, we believe that pipes are infrastructure because you need water to live, and too many families now live with the threat of lead poisoning. That's absolutely infrastructure. You talk about roads and bridges, but also airports and ports. We need to make sure that we have broadband. I know that traditionally the internet wasn't considered infrastructure because in the Eisenhower years, of course, it didn't exist. But infrastructure investment has to include looking to the future. Railroads seemed futuristic, and then we actually built them. Now they're considered traditional infrastructure. You could say the same about highways. And I've got a lot of respect for Senator Blunt, but I'm going to work to try to persuade him that electric vehicle charging infrastructure is absolutely a core part of how Americans are going to need to get around in the future, and not the distant, far-off future, but right now.
Facts.
And he had to clear her and get her together the best way he could. But continuing with Pete Buttigieg, wow, who the White House seems to be pushing as the front man for any infrastructure discussions. He appeared on Fox News to push back on whatever GOP talking points the host wanted to set him up with. And he did fairly well. Let's take another look.
we crunch the numbers, we find that 5.5% of the $2 trillion, well, 5.6 of the $2 trillion proposal is only dedicated to roads and bridges. Why is that?
Well, we're talking about roads and bridges. We're talking about rail and transit. We're talking about airports and ports. As you mentioned, we're talking about things like the grid. I don't know why anybody would say it's a mistake to invest in the grid after what we just witnessed in Texas. We saw U.S. citizens living in Texas melting snow in their bathtubs to be able to flush their toilets in the United States of America. That is unacceptable. So yes, infrastructure includes energy infrastructure. You know what else is part of infrastructure now? Broadband. I'm proud of the fact, even though it's a little outside my lane on the transportation side, I'm proud of the fact that we're going to finally get broadband out to every American, because we know, especially in rural areas, how much that's cutting people off from opportunity. Good infrastructure planning is always about looking to the future. You know, railroads weren't part of infrastructure until we built them. You know, I'm sure in the Eisenhower area, they weren't thinking about things like broadband. They were still working on electrification, which would have sounded newfangled in its time. Now it's time to prepare for the future. And the millions of jobs that will be created by this bill are because this bill looks to the future.
And Buttigieg and the Biden administration seem determined to make sure that the infrastructure week is no longer a punchline around Washington. The Biden administration has already made it clear that they're willing to do infrastructure through budget. Let us be clear, we are not fans of Mr. Buttigieg, and this is all. We are, however, fans of good infrastructure. And look, our writers wanted to make that be clear, because he made that clear yesterday on the producers meeting. He made sure y'all gonna make sure we not like it, gonna do Mr. Buttigieg. Okay,
did he say that last?
Hey, he put it at the bottom in italics, baby, and I can hear it in his voice.
He's like, because we just need the record to be set on this show. We are not fans of Mayo Pete, not
Mayo
one bit.
Pete.
Man.
Yeah, man, because it's like, you know, but when you're right, the broken clock is right twice a day. So shout out to him being right on this issue, because you really think about it, like, the internet is critical infrastructure, right? Free internet is critical infrastructure at this juncture, right? High-speed rail, critical infrastructure. And the fact that all of our junk is falling apart, where I knew people were like burning stuff in their homes to stay warm in Texas during that blackout. I didn't realize that they had to melt snow in order to get their toilets to flush in that state. Yeah. So there are just like so many things that he's absolutely right about on this thing in particular. But Dwayne, can I be petty for a second? Can you pull back up and just run it as a B-roll, the shot of Pete Buttigieg on Fox News, where he's sitting in between the host on either side? Because is it me, or did they make him look extra small, like extra tiny, like because he's already? I mean, don't he looks like they shrunk him down to size a little bit, or is it just no? They definitely. They could have zoomed.
It was because they did a close-up shot for the ones that are in the studio, and with him they had to go back, kind of like what's happening with me and my ponytail. We gotta do what we gotta do to make it the frame.
They did that to make him look like a little boy. That's what they did, because he like
a little man up down on the screen.
Fox News does stuff like that, man. Fox News will add they'll make your skin a little bit darker if you're black to make you a little scarier. But in this case, they made him look a little like a really small, like a little small man. So, anyway, I'm sorry.
Hey, and also, Colin Sherbert said, super chat, he said, "You good, Rebecca? Butcher their names."
Because I don't.
Snuffleupagus. Hey, the Snuffleupagus almost took me out this morning.
Ooh, listen. I also wanted to, before we leave, leave this segment. It's the South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem for me. Her getting on there and being like, "How is this even about infrastructure? The money's going to go back into homes. The money's going to go back into creating a great, roads and going into buildings. And how is that infrastructure? They are trying to hide in plain sight, guys. Watch out for those Democrats. Watch out for the Biden administration."
For her to say pipes, specifically to call out pipes as not being a part of infrastructure, and you consider what's happening and has been happening in Flint, Michigan with the lead pipes and the lead poisoning that has taken place. I'm looking extra good this morning, ain't I?
I was gonna start moving my mouth to match yours, man.
You should have.
We're supposed to save all of this for the after party. We got no sense. Anyway, yeah. For her to mention that, like, it's I don't know, man. It's like, is it bad faith, or is it bad faith, or are they just this stupid? Like, is she? Because yeah, I think you're right. Because for her, I think she really thought she was saying something. She's like, oh, it's going to go into pipes. Well, I'm sorry, governor. Like, how do you become a Republican? How do you become a governor? Actually, I just said it. You're a Republican, and they reward stupidity, and that's literally what we're doing.
Strong and wrong is their way to go every single time, and they don't care because it's somebody's going to back them up. And every single person that watched her say that do support Republicans, that represent Republicans who are the Trump supporters, because that's still an era, that's still a thing. Those people will listen to Fox News and like it's Bible and not really understand to go do their research. Whatever this person said is what it is, and we're going to move forward with that. So she's actually, people that watched her are actually going to believe that infrastructure doesn't have anything to really do with buildings or pipes or anything like that. So,
yeah. Anyway, there's another clip from Jim Acosta, who is a CNN host, and this one this I wanted to play this clip particularly because he said the right thing, but anyway, just take a look at it because there's a thing here that I want us to talk about. Take a look at Jim Acosta from CNN.
Two very different front pages after Biden's speech. New York Times, where Annie works, Biden plan stresses jobs and roads. Washington Post, the plan draws opposition. So quite a difference between these two front pages, Jim. And maybe it's good to have both. Maybe that's just a sign of a diverse media ecosystem.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's a good thing. I don't think we should be all covering it the same way. And, you know, as Annie was saying, there's a lot to be covered in this Biden infrastructure plan. We got used during the Trump era, to think of Infrastructure Week as a joke. This might be an infrastructure year in how we cover all of this. And I mean, as far as I'm concerned, can we just have a damn high-speed train in this country? I mean, can I please get to New York, from New York to Washington without problems on the Acela? And can I get on the Wi-Fi, by the way, when I ride the train and have that not be a problem? I mean, we have some major infrastructure problems in this country. You were just talking about broadband. I've been traveling down south and out west. There are still parts of this country where they can't get access to the internet.
Okay, so I mean, it's not a bad clip, but I'm like, Jim, like it's like a first world problem, and it's a
privilege issue.
It really is. Now we could all benefit 100%. We need to benefit from a high speed rail across this country, right? And shout out, we absolutely got to get Wi-Fi across this country. So I'm just kind of like nitpicking with them here a little bit.
No, he's right. It would be good to have those things.
Right. But it came out like, kind of, oh, for the love of God, can I get from New York? Well, I mean, really, people need to be able to get from their jobs to their homes, right? That's the kind of infrastructure. Like, there's a lot of people who are not able to go from like just a 5-mile distance. Like, if you live in Atlanta, there are places where it takes you 2 hours to go a 10-mile distance if you're using public transportation. So there's and everything he said is right. We need high speed rail.
Your own car on 75. What you need? 400.
That's what I'm saying.
Ever.
So I'm just saying, from people who are like poor perspective, is like,
that's what I heard too.
We need to be able to get to the other side of town with some infrastructure improvements. And I know he supports that too. And I know it's kind of nitpicky, but I didn't know if anybody else felt the same thing, kind of vibe I was feeling there.
I felt like, listen, white man with privilege. When you speak in that way, I was looking like, okay, sir, like, do you really have those issues, or are you speaking for the people? Because it sounds like you want these things for you because your life is so hard. But imagine those people like who can't get across town because they have to be on public the slowest form of public transportation. God. It's a snail, baby. And then even Jesus, holy Lord,
it's not smarter.
It ain't working smarter. It ain't getting there quicker. And they have the nerve to try to promote that on the train. Park your car at MARTA and ride with us. No. I'm not doing a thing. Even though I cannot lie, riding when I used to live around Buckhead, riding to go just 10 minutes off the exit used to take an hour sometimes because of the traffic. On 400, it would be like so stressful, my anxiety. I can see my exit right there. It needs to be ridiculous. But because until they need to do something with that, I don't know how many lanes can we produce and it be quicker? I don't know. It just ain't working.
It's the public transportation part, right?
Yes.
It's the fact that MARTA ain't, I hate to say it again, Bubba, but MARTA ain't
smarter.
It ain't smarter. Like the busing system in the state is like, and it's particularly bad across the South.
They don't put any effort into it. They don't try. And whether it's the buses and then it only goes in a particular area, not the full metro Atlanta area. It literally will be like, oh, it's metro Atlanta transportation. No, Cobb has to have their own busing. There is no train system that really goes into Cobb, into like riding into Woodstock or riding into Alpharetta. Like it's just really those few areas in Atlanta. So
my real hope is with this infrastructure bill, like, because they're not spending a lot of money, but they are spending some money.
Yeah.
The problem is that it's going to go from the top down in terms of what they do. They probably will get a bullet train and get that thing situated for people who need to go from LA to New York and don't want to jump on a plane. I might end up doing that because I don't want to jump on a plane. But the real infrastructure problems are being faced by people who are just trying to get to their 9-to-5 job, and it takes them 2 hours because traffic is deadlocked and they're in the South and we don't have any public transportation that's worth a damn. And so that clip really, it's not to make Jim Acosta a villain, but it really shows you like where priorities go. Like if the priorities are wrong, they could spend that whole $10 trillion over 10 years and it all goes to people who, well, they have a fear of flying, so they'll catch a bullet train, versus the millions of people who can't get to their job without sitting in traffic for 2 hours. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I know. I hear it. And the priorities being for those people who look like them. It's like it's the right message, wrong messenger. And sometimes it's like, because it was packaged that way, we don't want to listen. But I hear what he's saying. But just hearing it come from him, it's somebody who he can tell is comfortable, and can take flights when he needs to get where he has to go. And or if he needed to take it by train or whatever, he could do that as well. And then
get there if you can.
Yeah, get there if you can. You can reach me by. That's my song.
There are hills and mountains.
That's all I can think about. Train, plane, whatever, That's like when I heard that.
But yeah, it's just a messenger. And even though we shouldn't be like that, because it doesn't. Well, it does matter who's saying it, and I won't listen because people that have privilege should. Never mind. But I heard you.
Hey, so we, again, like, just to give everybody a heads up, we are shifting our gears in terms of the morning show for a lot of reasons, including my voice, including just streamlining and consolidating and making sure we're only doing an hour public show. And we're going to do a half-hour after party every single morning for people who are patrons, Twitch subscribers, and anyone who does a super chat. We're going to make a system out. You can get with our producer, David, to get the invite to the after party. We just have to preserve and conserve so that we can keep doing this in the long run. That said, Rebecca, before we get out of here this morning, that Saturday Night Live with your boy, I can never
Daniel
pronounce.
Kaluuya. Daniel Kaluuya.
That was and he's the actor. He's the actor that played most recently played Chairman Fred Hampton of the Illinois Black Panther Party for self-defense, and he did a Saturday night sketch. You want to set it up, or you want to just look at the clip?
No, let's just look at the clip.
Jesus Christ! Our producer in the background is.
Why you say that?
He a little thick.
My name is Daniel Kaluuya. And first of all, I know you're hearing my accent and thinking, oh no, he's not black. He's British. Let me reassure you that I am black. I'm black and I'm British. Basically, I'm what the royal family was worried the baby would look like. People ask me, what's worse, British racism or American racism? Let me put it this way. British racism is so bad, white people left. They wanted to be free. Free to create their own kind of racism. So that's why they invented Australia, South Africa, and Boston.
I'm glad you know.
Right.
Did the audience hear you, Dwayne, when you said he could play
Bernie Mac?
Oh,
So you saying he's fluffy? Is that what you're saying? Because I ain't see that for him.
Well, he had to put on a little weight to do Chairman Fred.
Yeah,
but I feel
at first he looked a little chunky when I was looking at the
no, because I seen it, but he did have to put on a little weight. But even when he played Chairman Fred, he wasn't all that big either. Yeah. I think it was just the layering of the clothing.
Yeah, that's what he had on.
It was an interesting outfit.
But he's from Britain and he black, like he said. They different.
Hey, he said Britain. I love the way they say British. Do it, Rebecca. You know how to do it.
Yeah, I am not doing it.
Come on, Rebecca, do it.
Impersonations on.
I am not doing it.
You do a great British accent.
This is my first time being back with the people.
And we want the accent.
Wait, what was that?
We are not. That was that. You know who that was? That was the folks.
Lord.
But no, listen. A quick story about that. I actually, about 3 years ago when Black Panther was being shot here, I used to go to the Taishan restaurant, and one of the Daniel was asking for Haitian food or Caribbean food. And so this particular day, I was like, I knew the owner to the restaurant. Like, let me go there. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's up? So I went over there and he was enjoying the food and he was just so nervous and so shy. And people didn't really know who he was, even though he was in the movie Get Out. People were acting like they didn't know who that man was. But he was just so shy and so sweet, and he loved the food. So shouts out to Coconut Grill, which is no longer a restaurant here, but and shouts out to Daniel.
You know, I remember him first. The first time I saw him was in Black Mirror, the Netflix science fiction thriller show. And he was in the episode called 1 Million Credits. And the reason I remember that episode so well is because it's perfectly captures everything that's happening in like podcasting culture and in social media culture, where like basically he started off as a person who 100% who was frustrated with the system and was like ready to tear down the entire system. And then the episode they commodified him, they turned him into a business. And every single night he got on on his broadcast and basically performed his revolution for money versus. So it was really brilliant. So I've known about him for a minute. But yeah, shout out to him because I know he's
shout out to Daniel, man. He's been doing his thing, and even if he has small roles like he did in Black Panther, it was an okay role, but it wasn't like M'Baku.
Yeah, M'Baku.
But it wasn't like those roles or whatever. But
would you betray me, my love?
He's put in a lot of work. I remember the Netflix joints. Remember Get Out. He was tiny in Get Out. Ooh, but he was so young.
He was,
going into Black Panther, and he's done little other roles and stuff like that I've seen him in little movies on Netflix. You know, those British movies, those British black movies. I've seen him on those as well. And he's African.
British.
Do it, Rebecca.
British.
No, you guys are not trying to pit my accent out.
Rebecca, come on, Rebecca. Do the opposite,
like I'm your kid. Rebecca, do that little thing for the people.
Do that thing.
Rebecca, baby, you know what you used to do, baby. Come on, baby, do that.
It's like we like somebody grandparents. Go on, sing for them.
Exactly.
Oh man. Yeah. Now,
right. Like during Ron Isley's certain performance yesterday, it was go to the room now. You got school in the morning, okay? I'm like, yo, this is a crazy, interesting. Why do I feel this way watching this man perform? It was crazy.
Women were losing their mind on the internet over Mr. Biggs. I'm telling you.
Excuse me, Granddaddy Isley.
Granddaddy.
Granddaddy Isley.
Okay, so that said, man, y'all think we can actually do an hour show?
I mean, this was like, for me, it was 20 minutes because
you were late.
Right, you was late. That FAMU internet, girl.
Y'all call it FAMU internet. I'm ready to get rid of it too. I'm ready to let go. But it's the only internet that comes out here in the woods.
See, infrastructure. That's infrastructure.
You're right.
We
talk about it.
We need fiber optics. I can't even say it. Optics across the country, man. We still dealing with this dial-up. Well,
And if you
Rebecca's still
want
dealing with that
more,
dial-up.
yeah,
But for
if
the
you
rest
want
of the-
more of me, though, head over to this after party.
Yeah.
Except it sounds like an OnlyFans. Head over to the after party.
You can go to the OnlyFans and look up Bubba DJ.
Hey, shout out. I'm gonna be honest with you. Last thing before we go to the after party. Patreon.com/BPD show. Patreon.com/like it or not. And if you're a Twitch subscriber. But shout out to DJ Exclusive, because like I was watching that thing last night with DJ Nice, and
it was nice.
It was cool. He was DJ Nice is DJ Nice, but he ain't DJ Exclusive. That said, Dwayne,
look. Ooh, take us to the after party because I need to discuss something real quick.
Yeah. Right. So how do we? Okay, so let's do it like this because we didn't really practice this. So, Bubba, play a little music as we get set up for the after party, and then we'll go to the after party after that.
All right, and we'll see you guys.
All right,
we'll see you guys there.
We'll do this better tomorrow.
OnlyFans, like it or not.
OnlyFans, like it or not. Go subscribe right now.
I could really use a change of scenery. Yeah, everybody smoking all the greenery. Yeah, clothes and match they were handed down to me, but I'm still fly. I know. I'm still fly. Let's go. It could all be worse. I could be a hater like you. It could all be worse. Rules to make the man, but that poison's gonna kill you.